Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Libra March 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Well, this month we have a deck called Raphael or Raphaelite or from memory, Raffles or something. I just had the deck tied up in a string. The box is long gone, so I think that's it. You'll probably recognize it yourself and just confirm in the comment whether I've got the right, whether I've given it the right name. Well, the name doesn't matter. What does matter is the cosmic energies that are swirling around, that these cards give us a hint into, a window into, and how they interact with one another, and the various suits and the numerology and the astrology which is attached to them. So incidentally, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for Librans over the course of the last month from different countries around the world, and if you might be interested in having a one-on-one clairvoyant reading with me, at the end of the video, check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, I charge for those. I have to. But the other spiritual gift that was given to me at birth is that of healing. Now, when I say it was given to me, what was given to me is the ability to act as the conduit through which the spiritual healing comes, so that the healing comes through me and not from me, if you understand what I mean. And that gift was given on the basis that I am to receive nothing of benefit in return, so it's free. There's no obligation. You will not be sold anything. You won't be sold or recommended anything from me or from anybody else. It's totally the free lunch, and it's something which I am to do and am very happy to do. So if you have some emotional pain or something else that you think would benefit from the infusion of spirit, then by all means, please get hold of me. A lot of people have done this and they've found it really, really beneficial. I won't say anything more. Now, now Google should be set so that there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and hopefully Google is playing its part there, so you get to enjoy the experience without any video interruptions. And we just take 5 cards. 5's all we need. We don't just spend 2 seconds on a card, do we? Oh no, because they have a lot to tell us about the cosmic energies that are swirling around you at this time. So show me the magic. Chariot. The Star, great. Very difficult for me to actually work out sometimes what these cards are because it's just an image without anything going for it. There's the 7 of coins. Well, so far so good anyway. What's that? That's the Lovers. The Adam and Eve theme going there, arguably. And what do we have here? And that's 3 of Swords, it would be. So, why don't you come and sit down here next to me? I'll bring the camera around. You and I can have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together while they speak to us both, and I'll do the reading for you. Well, what a fascinating spread of cards for you here. And I want to turn first to these 2 minor arcana. There's 7 of coins, or discs, or pentacles, whatever you want to call it, and there's 3 of swords. Now, the suit of earth and the suit of air, they weaken each other. Now, if you can imagine a cyclone or a hurricane or a typhoon, and you can see the effect that air has on the land, and so the effect of them is weakened as a result of it. So their strength and what they are portraying is something, I think, really more of something that you want to bear in mind rather than something that's going to be dramatic at all for you. So let's have a look at this, and the Saturn coming over both of these cards here. Let's have a look at this first one, which is this 3 of Swords. Now, this energy is on the way out, incidentally, but let's have a look at it, shall we? And the astrology of this is Saturn in the 2nd decan of Libra, your sign, right, which, as you know, is the 3rd to the 12th of October. Now, as you probably also know, Saturn is exalted in your sign. And so this is actually very good. Saturn is allowed to be its natural self, which is about bringing you along and pushing you into the path of your soul purpose and your soul contract and the things that you want to experience in life and to learn from. Now, there are some people in some cases who think, and it is true sometimes, I suppose, that Saturn is about limitations, restrictions, time, form, and formality. And the suit of swords, well, it can be difficult, it has to be said, but it seems to me that there may have been some worries around you, some doubts, a lack of clarity, a heaviness. Saturn is applying its hard lessons on your sign's desire for relationship. And sometimes, of course, disappointment and sorrow is a natural event that comes from relationships, which don't necessarily have to be just romantic relationships. There could also be social relationships or work relationships, and all of us at some time have to go through such things at some point or another. Now, Libra, of course, is also about you adjusting yourself and justice. So there is a link here, I think, to the karmic law and you having gone through something which is actually for your benefit. But nevertheless, you might, as a result of that, and there is, I think, something of a hangover here, which we'll get to in just a moment, where there's a sort of a heaviness with you. Now, this could also refer to a three-sided relationship, which is causing some difficulty. And you might even find that you are being very emotional, or have been very emotional about a subject, or that you are holding on to some grief or sorrow about something which has occurred. Or it can even mean sometimes that you are denying your own emotions that are here. Really, what this is speaking of is a clarity that has been confused, and it brings with it gloomy clouds of doubt, sometimes fear or worry, and they limit your mind and soul. Now, Saturn, of course, is a strict teacher, and it makes all impurities visible, and it also blocks all comfortable avenues of escape. Now, I guess if there is a lesson here to be thought of, it is no less than you mastering care and worry, because a brooding, distrustful outlook has got to be recognized clearly as negative energy which separates you from your origins. Now, as I say, I'm also getting the sense here of a tension-loaded, three-sided relationship. And you may be doing something, or there's something coming about in some way which is seeking to explode or destroy it. Well, that situation usually demands very clear decisions, because attempting to avoid making them will cause sorrow and worry. Now, I have to say that perhaps there is some sorrow over past hurts or losses or separations, or maybe even a fear of abandonment, perhaps. But really, because this is turned up here, and underneath the star, which is magnificent, so is the Lovers and the Chariot here, and we'll get to them in a moment. This is really a summons to you to make very clear, specific decisions, because only in this way can the lost balance, which is your Libra aspect, only then can it be regained. Now, what decisions are difficult for you to make or to face? But remember always, every problem contains within it its own solution. Now, I mentioned that there was something of a hangover, perhaps, which comes from that energy, and that is expressed by this Seven of Earth, and here we have Saturn again, which is actually good for you for the reason that I discussed, because Saturn is exalted in your sign, and so the energy is downplayed for you. But Saturn here is in the third decan of Taurus, which is the 11th to the 20th of May. Now, you will know that Saturn is a slow-moving planet, and Taurus, well, it's the fixed sign of Earth, and it can, in a sense, be seen as being plodding. Now put them together, and you might feel as if there is some stagnation around, some restriction, a hesitation perhaps, maybe a fear of what seem to you to be apparently insurmountable obstacles. Another way that I might put it is that perhaps you have a fear of falling based on past experience. Now, it is possible that there could well be a delay in you receiving payouts or payments for things here, but this is also talking about a slow, steady growth and long-term results. It might also mean that you are now, at the moment, working through something of a dry spell. I mean, really your ability to deal with things that are turning up might in some way be being blocked by you because of dire and fearful expectations. So just step back and analyze what's going on. You see, the fear of mistakes can touch work, business, financial situations, physical conditions, or your health, and you might see apparently huge obstacles in front of you and believe that you will not be able to jump these hurdles with the first try, and so terrible images rise up threateningly. And so you might tend to draw back, give up, be resigned, and to limit your actions to the old and familiar ways of dealing with problems. Well, these clouds that are in the background here, they say to me that these fears and dread, they really belong to the mental plane, and they don't necessarily reflect the actual physical reality. But I suppose there could be some connection between the two, because negative expectations are powerful thought forms which, when you nourish them, either consciously or unconsciously for a long enough period of time, can actually help create the situation you are afraid of, can't they? And naturally, the same, of course, applies to positive thoughts and expectations. Your life is what you think it is. Let me say that again. Your life is what you think it is. Now, I think that this energy here, even in its weakened form, as I discussed because of the interaction of these two cards together, I think it's giving you a hint of those things that you need to take seriously. Fear, either conscious or unconscious, could well be present, and now is the time to recognize it, to understand it, to name it, to describe it, and accept that that is a fear, and it will dissolve. Now, these are necessary steps in overcoming fear, in letting it go and creating a more powerful outlook, and thoughts which affirm life in all of its fullness and beauty, along with a positive attitude, will they create the proper energy to change the unpleasant experiences that you think might be turning up and turn them into joyful events. Saturn does give rise to fear, and fear is always a factor in failure because fear is a handbrake, and you put it on there. I will say this, though. What this energy is saying is that If you have been trying with someone in a relationship setting, giving it your all, giving it your most, trying to make it work, and you're not getting back what you need from the other person, there's not a commitment there, then it might be about time to cut your losses. Now, be aware that your ability to deal with things can be blocked by heavy and fearful expectations. So look at their content and what they are. And in what areas of your life do you worry the most? I suppose what you could do is write a complete list of your worst expectations on a piece of paper. Use a pen, and then take a new piece of paper and change each fear into its positive opposite. And keep working on these lists, change them when necessary, and decide consciously that you are going to have a wonderful life. And of course, you can also look for people who are going to support you in this. But say this to yourself: I am willing to release all that is not serving me in my life. I have the courage to believe that all that happens in my life, as it always does, it serves me for the best. But you don't hang around, and you do start putting things in motion which actually brings you success. And this is very strongly associated with this first card that you drew and the energy which is associated with it in this spread. And this is for me the child of the power of waters, the lord of the triumph of light. This is particularly a symbol for victory. It is the moon ruling Cancer with Jupiter, the planet of good fortune, exalted. Now, this is saying to me that you will, notwithstanding those handbrake or that you put on yourself, you are going to have victory over adversity. Now, I do think that you have come through a difficult period, but now you are going to overcome those difficulties. You have the courage and strength. You're going to have the courage to act, and that's important because it's all very good to think about acting, but you've actually got to have the desire to act. And in particular, I think you're going to have success over previous negative patterns. I think there's also a focus on self-discipline here, and I think there's also a period of rest here. You're going to be moving towards higher goals. This is signifying a new beginning. It's a turning point, a change for the good. There's the triumph in the face of adversity. And I think you'll be overcoming problems with little or no support from anybody else. Now, if you look at the driver in this card here, they're sitting there almost in a meditation posture in a chariot which has not yet begun to move. Now, the charioteer is clothed in golden armor. And I think what is happening here is that the driver is looking at all the possible consequences before daring to set the chariot in motion on a new beginning. Because once the driver has chosen to start, there will be no turning back, and that is going to be the position that you are in. Nothing is going to be able to halt your journey. Now, there are new beginnings here which are just about to explode into reality. Now it can point to a journey or the start of some new phase, a new relationship, a new living situation, a new job. These phases, this is a phase of your life. But nothing should be hastily decided, because I think that everything that you're looking at requires exact examination. But once all the groundwork has been done by you, then this new start should not be put off unnecessarily, because everything here is pointing towards a favorable development. Now, I think this new start will leave behind maybe some of the boring routines of daily life, inspiration and ideas are going to abound and expand your areas of activity. You are now in the position to engage successfully in many different activities. And this variety of activity, it's going to make you feel really good and stimulate you. But despite all the activity and bustle that's going around you, your highest goal will not be forgotten or overlooked. Now, I notice that there's a golden path that's down there. Well, I think what this does is this is saying that this is the royal path travelled by every spiritual seeker in search of self-knowledge and inspiration. Now, the oncoming changes promise to lead to a positive phase of your life, so ready yourself, put your affairs in order, examine the possibilities. I think you are going to leave a lot behind, and maybe ask yourself, what area of your life will be changing? Are you ready to ring out the old and ring in the new? And be sure to seek or create for yourself a loving, secure environment, because there you can calmly plan the change or journey. I've got to say also, I'm just getting the feeling here that your body also needs attention and activity now. But say this to yourself because it's particularly true for you. I motivate others positively. I am responsible for what I cause. I can accomplish things well and with ease. And I am responsible for my life, and I am putting my life in order and preparing for the new beginning. Now, in a sense, the card below it is sort of on the same theme as the energy that we just looked at. This card here is what I call the children of the voice divine, the oracle of the mighty gods. I think there's a need for you to look at all angles before making a decision, This is also speaking of love, attraction, approaching people, a connection with people, and maybe also the union of opposites through love, and you becoming conscious through relationship. In a sense, I think, following on from this, you are in some respects at a crossroads, and you, however, will be making the right choice. This can also speak of falling in love, having a commitment to someone, an engagement, or even choosing between two lovers. It also speaks of changing things up in an existing committed relationship. I think you could also be called upon to be a bit of a mediator or a peacemaker in problems and dramas which are going on with other people. There is, however, I think, the need to make a major life choice on the direction ahead of you. It may not seem so at the time, but when you look back in 12 months' time, you're going to say, I remember when I did that. And I do think also there could well be a mutual attraction and sexual connection here. But this is a major arcana, so I don't see it as being something just like a casual thing. The Lovers as a card really represents two opposites which yearn for and are attracted to one another. Now, this duality, which is reflected in every aspect of existence, of course, as you can see, that duality has got to be experienced practically in the relations between a man or a woman, or a man to man for gay, or a woman and a woman for the lesbian audience. Because every attempt at approach, at union or connection, that's an expression of the passionate urge to re-establish the lost oneness that existed before we came into space and time. You see, the ruler of this is Gemini, and Gemini is about the explosion into duality in space and time, that aspect of divinity that goes off in different directions and has different aspects to it, separate to one another. Now, I think that the duality that's there, well, every attempt at approach or union or connection, that does bring about that oneness again. Every individual woman and every man contains the duality of male and female, you know. It's just that these express themselves in different and often contradictory ways as a result of hormones and anatomy and psychology, personal characteristics. You understand what I mean. You know, you will often find that when it comes to relationships, that each partner in a relationship mirrors the mental and spiritual condition of the other. Usually your partner mirrors aspects that are undeveloped or unenlivened in yourself. And what you feel you are missing in yourself, you see in the other. Now, this is an opportunity to have a vitally important experience on the way towards awareness. This can't be grasped just intellectually, just by using the mind. It demands living it out. It requires letting yourself in for all the dimensions of joy, ecstasy, mutual enrichment, as well as the pain, the struggle, and the destruction that's necessary for growth. I think that a relationship that is alive allows those involved to experience all of the dualities, all of the opposites, because with love comes jealousy, and with harmony comes disharmony, and with unity, of course, sometimes comes separation, and with the excitement of getting together with someone new, the opposite of that is the sobering sense of separation and estrangement. Now, this can indicate a wonderful and exciting love relationship. I think that current relationships are either going to deepen, or I have to say, there's a very good chance that they could also end. Now, excuse me while I bash my head into that. I just lost my train of thought. New methods for personal growth and integration of your own opposing aspects, well, they present themselves as you turn towards and interact with a partner or a group. Now, what do you seek in the people that you love, and what comprises a fulfilling relationship for you? Say to yourself, I enjoy working with people of all ages. I have within me well-developed people skills. I am emotionally sure about what I need or don't need, about what I want or don't want in a relationship. And I am ready for the partner that I have always longed for. Now we finish on what is probably one of my favorite. Actually, the energy here is very good, but sadly we need to deal with it rather quickly, I think, because I'm aware of your time. And here we have the daughter of the firmament, and it is Saturn ruling Aquarius with Neptune exalted. Well, Aquarius is all about the individual and uniqueness, but it has an overall humanitarian outlook, doesn't it? Well, this energy shares these qualities in that it is trying to remind you about the divinity and the uniqueness that is within you, and encouraging you to become the pipe, the fiber that brings down your highest potential. There's the crystallization of ideas around here, making things happen, a self-recognition, radiating clear vision and a trust in yourself. There's hope, happiness, opportunities, and optimism as a result of these planning and decisions that you make. This is a really beautiful process. Cosmic inspiration of the highest nature is going to be received by you, and you're going to be able to make it manifest in this material plane. Now, look at this star here. That's like a sort of an antenna, I guess. Well, she is the channel used by divine energy to manifest on Earth. And in each hand, she holds a jug through which the energy pours. And this star is the antenna which extends perception and flows to Earth, carrying with it the inspiration of the cosmic. You will be fulfilled and inspired by life, and it's a reminder to follow your dreams, those that give you the most inspiration, and to be open to love and trust creation and what it is that it brings. And encouragement has now been given to you that, although I think you've had some testing times in the past, now is the time to move forward with renewed hope and live an inspired life in which you can express yourself fully. Well, what a tremendous set of cards for you. And didn't you do well? Yes, you did a really good job in that reading, and what a fantastic and interesting month it looks like it's going to be for you, and don't you deserve it? It's great to see you. And you deserve all the good things in life, really you do. Now, unless I see you privately for a reading or a healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.